So with that being said, once again, I got a good friend of mine that's got a lot of information that he wants to share with you guys. So take plenty of notes and participate. With that being said, Umair, on my end, it says it's 5 after the hour. I got to step out of your way because I know the team is ready to go structure deals and make things happen for 2025.
All right, everybody. Inside joke. Inside joke. All right, guys. Good evening. Like Chad said, my name's Umair. I'm really excited to hang out with you amazing people. And I just want to say, Chad, I'm so proud of you, dude. You're gonna be closing on your first small mobile home park, and you failed to mention that you're doing it with none of your own money out of pocket. So get it to the closing line. Let's get it there. Get it there. All right. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let my team go to their mastermind room. Like Chad said, my name's Umair. You're gonna spend the next 60 to 90 minutes with me, depending on questions. And what I'm gonna do real quick is just kind of lay out an outline of what to expect. I hated going to meetings and my expectation wasn't met, and then I was like, that sucked. So I respect you guys. Cool. What we do is we run what we like to call a full service real estate investing ecosystem. And today you're going to learn how it works and how you can plug in and play, right? Now, did you know that there's lots of ways that you can make money in the real estate investing space? I'm going to just name some because some people aren't familiar. We have investors doing all of these different types of deals. You can make money flipping houses. You can make money wholesaling properties. You can make money doing tax liens or tax deeds. You can do mortgage notes. I hold a lot of mortgage notes in my portfolio. I own mobile home parks and single family houses. So there's lots of ways. You can do Airbnb arbitrage. You can do raw land development. So my friends, there are so many ways that you and your family can make real estate investing work for you. Cool. Now, there's three main things, three main reasons why people find us or why we find them. And I'm going to cover those three things. Okay, you guys ready? Number one, the first reason why you might find yourself here is you like the idea of learning real estate investing and then locking arms with people that you can build long-term relationships with. I've met some of my best friends through this process that I'm doing with you tonight. Okay. So if you want to learn, you want to be around people who are actually doing deals, not just talking about it, you're in the right place. Okay. So that's number one. We do have some mentorship and some coursework and some way. I'm going to show you how I got started. But that's number one. Number two, we don't want to make anyone feel bad for being broke, right? That's not the MO today. So we've got different. Number two, we have some income opportunities. So if you like the idea of making some extra money working from home in your spare time, we can take some time to explore what that would look like for you, right? Just because you don't have a ton of money, it doesn't mean we're gonna treat you any different, okay? And then number three is this: sometimes people meet us, guys, and they have like a 401k, a 403b, a TSP plan, money sitting in a savings account devaluing because of inflation. So sometimes I meet people like you, and you're like, hey, I don't want to learn anything. I don't want to build my own business, but I would love to invest in either your projects, Umair, or other people's projects that are in the community. So that's an opportunity, okay? So tonight I'm going to be doing some trainings on business, on entrepreneurship, as I explain and break down how our group works. The chat boxes are going to stay open. Ask anything, right? Regardless, I want to be here to help and support you. I've been investing the last 12 years and I do this full time. It's my full-time thing. And I love showing other people how they can have the same freedom. Hi, Robin. I know you, don't I? Well, you look like, yeah, I think I know you. I know you. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen here before I get started. Guys, do me a favor, type one of three things into my chat box. Either you're a B for beginner, you're just getting started, B for beginner, I for intermediate, you've done a few deals, but in one niche, or A for advanced, you've done 30 plus real estate investing deals and you're here looking to grow an existing business. It'll really help me to help you. Okay. B for beginner, I for intermediate, A for advanced. And I want to, because I don't want to talk about things you already know, but I don't want to make things so confusing that you don't get any value out of tonight. Kiana, thank you. Fatima, thank you. Kayla, Erica, Denise, Tanya, Brianna, Quincy. Okay. Awesome, guys. A lot of you are just getting started. So I'm expecting questions. There is no stupid question. Okay. All right. And if you are doing deals, if you're a little bit more intermediate, what type of deals are you doing? And what's one thing that would take your game to the next level? Same for you, James. You're A for advanced. I don't want to waste your time, buddy. I want to be able to provide some value to you as well, James. So what type of deals you doing, my friend? And what's one thing that would take your game to the next level? I love it. And please just use the chat boxes. So I'm going to go through the training that I had planned out for us. And we're going to have a ton of fun tonight. And thank you guys for being out on camera. Like, we used to do these meetings in my office where I could actually see people, but after COVID, we shut that down. And it's so nice to actually be able to see faces. You know what I mean? So it's weird talking to your screen. Okay. So again, for those of you that logged in late, I'm covering three things: trainings on business, trainings on real estate investing, and finally, how our group functions and how you can plug in and play to what we call our real estate investing ecosystem. Okay. Our business model consists of building groups of people all around America that can do deals and collaborate on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. So this is one of our offices. It's in Chicago. It's a 10,000 square foot facility where people like you and me can just vibe, do deals, and build our own businesses. Okay. So every investor in our group is in business for themselves, just not by themselves. Cool? Just so we're clear here. So we've just congregated everything someone would need to start or grow a real estate investing empire, and we put it in one place. Tonight, you're going to learn about it. Okay. So quick disclaimer, guys, the information shared here, it's for explanation purposes only. Any projection of growth or income does not imply that such growth or income is typical or easy to build or even possible for some of you guys. This week, I want to get to know you. You're going to get to know us. This week, you're going to meet people making 30 to 50 grand a month. You're going to meet people making six figures on a fix and flip or a land development deal. You're going to meet people who have been in this space, okay? But I don't want to start this relationship by building the wrong expectation. Does that make sense? Real estate investing does not happen overnight. Now, there are people that make good money fairly quickly, but it's not the average. Cool? Cool. All right. Just wanted to put that out there. So I want to start with this disclaimer. A little bit about me. My name is Umair, like Chad said, born and raised in Virginia. Went to school like all of us, and I sucked at it. And I was going to community college here in Virginia when I stumbled upon real estate investing. And it was really, really expensive. I don't know how many of you guys got a degree, but it was just too much for me. You know, it was like $350 a credit, and I needed 60 or 70 credits just to get my associate's degree. And so I made an executive decision to drop out of school, and I started chasing real estate. Initially, I started learning from like the University of YouTube. I was on Bigger Pockets. You know, information's everywhere, right, guys? Like, it's like info is all over the place. My biggest issue was implementation. I just didn't know what was step one, what was step two, what was step three. Like, how do I actually do this instead of just sitting for hours and consuming information? And so I lost money. I had money stolen from me. At the time, I was so broke that I turned my hobby into my full-time job. I've done some pro boxing and some mixed martial arts, but I knew I didn't want to get punched in the face for a living. I was like, this sucks, you know? This is my wife, Yas. If any of you guys are married, please hear me out. You absolutely must get your spouse on the same page. If your spouse does not believe in what you're doing, or you don't believe in what they're doing, then you got to get on the same page, right? Eventually, this is what I told my wife. My wife thought that job security was a real thing. I said, honey, your job is going to cost our family way too much money in the long run. So I showed her the numbers, and a number of years ago, she quit her job. We traveled the world. We've had a ton of fun. And we created this little cutie right here. Guys, I'm not Mr. Fancy Pants. I don't drive fancy cars, but this is my daughter, Sophia. And really, the only reason I'm with you now is we just put her to sleep. Right? I spend my days and time with my family because that's what's important to me. So I want you to start thinking about why you're even considering getting into real estate. Do you want more freedom in your life? Like me, I'm a freedom seeker. Do you want to take control over your finances? Or do you just not have the right system to help push and build a flipping business or push and build a wholesaling business? Like, what is the reason why you're wanting to get involved with real estate? Okay. Your why is important. Okay. The how will show up. Okay, so guys, that's a little bit about me. My family's originally from Pakistan. We didn't come to this country with money, right? My mom and dad worked at convenience stores. I used to get made fun of in high school because of it. My dad worked at the 7-Eleven next to my high school, and it was like the most embarrassing thing ever. But anyways, because of the information you're going to hear tonight, myself, my family, my mom and dad, guys, we never have to work a job ever again. And I'm not saying it's bad to have a job. I'm just saying we never have to. Does that make sense? So tonight, I'm going to give you guys some homework and we're going to get to work towards building your real estate empire. Cool? Is it okay if I give you some action items? If I gave you some work to do, would you guys do it? Yeah? I hope so, right? Because it's not about listening to some guy talk about what he's doing. It's about you taking the steps necessary to build your empire, right? It's what it's about. Okay, guys, enough about me. Today, again, is not about me. It's about you. I'm just, I'd love to get to know you better. I'll give you all my contact information at the end. Okay, let's keep it moving. So I want to do a quick training on mindset. This training is developed in layers. All right, let's start with mindset. It is the most important thing, guys. I've talked to thousands of people at this point in my career as an investor, and the one thing that stops people from really absolutely crushing it is their mindset. So please take this serious, okay? Now, there are 4 currencies that are going to help you build wealth in real estate. And if you're not familiar with these, please write them down. 4 currencies. Money is the obvious currency, right? Take $5 to Mickey D's, you might get a large fry. Okay, inflation. But money. Would you guys agree if I said time was a currency? Do you guys agree? I mean, think about it. We have 6 months left to live. What's going to be worth more to all of us? A boatload of money or more time? I'm 37. I was 26 yesterday. Blink, just went by, right? So you want to start looking at real estate not from a money standpoint, but also from a time standpoint. So money, time. Now, what about knowledge? Would you guys agree if I said knowledge is a currency? Who gets, it's just like knowledge has been huge. Before I got into flipping or wholesaling or mobile home parks or rent to own deals, I just didn't know what I didn't know. Okay, so knowledge is a currency. And last and finally, relationships. A big reason why I do meetings like this is I love building relationships with amazing people like you. But I want you to think about this. Like, think about your relationship right now with Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, your FICO scores. Don't they dictate what you can and can't do a lot of times as an American? So relationships are huge. Okay. Now, all I'm going to do, my friends, is I'm going to take these 4 currencies and I'm going to compare and contrast them with an American who has what I call a typical mindset and an American who has a wealthy mindset. And guys, just do a mindset inventory. This is not to make anyone right or wrong. In fact, I can't talk about you. I don't know you yet. I'm going to talk about me. Umair, money used to be the reason why I did or didn't do things. You know what I mean? I was chasing money. I was just chasing money. I had so many jobs. I was just like chasing money. So money was my reason. And guys, unfortunately, time was the tool that I used to chase money. Are you giving up all of your time for money right now? Right? And my dad did this, and his dads did this. I told my dad this. I said, Dad, you gave up all of your time for a little bit of money, which is ultimately going to be taxed heavily. And my friends, if you don't understand the United States tax system, I'm going to talk about it tonight. It's super important for you to learn on your journey. Guys, where money used to be the reason and time was the tool that I used, this is the one shift I need to help everyone make tonight. You got to start looking at money as the tool. Because, guys, in real estate, it doesn't have to be your own money. In fact, I'm going to talk about no money, no credit deals tonight. Cool? But you got to start looking at money as the tool and time is your reason. My intention is to help every single one of you buy your time back. Okay. Now, what about knowledge? As Americans, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're taught to look at knowledge as a burden, right? It's a burden. Think about it. I went to school for 8 hours and then I would only get 30 minutes of recess. And then as I became an adult in society, I was forced to go to a job for 8 hours and I'd be lucky if I got an hour break. If that's not called psychological conditioning, I don't know what is. But we're taught that knowledge is a burden. If you're gonna win in the game of business and real estate, you gotta love learning. Okay. You gotta start looking at learning as a journey. And a lot of you already do. That's why you're here, right? Cool. We're like plants. When we stop growing, we die. Okay. Now, this relationship thing is huge. Okay. Back in the day when I was broke and living with my mom and dad in their basement, I looked at relationships from a competitive space. Do you look at relationships from a competitive space? I was like, why would anyone want me to learn how to flip? Doesn't that make me their competition? Anyone think like that right now? And I want you to question the way you think. We are taught to compete with each other. If you have a job right now, a job is a lot like a pyramid scheme. Have you guys ever heard of a pyramid scheme? Pyramid schemes? Well, this is how pyramid schemes actually work. The people at the top get paid the most money, aka your boss, right? Your boss gets paid more than you, right? And then in a job like corporate America, there's a lot of departments. Do you guys agree? A lot of departments here. And for example, if me and Kayla, hi Kayla, if we had the same job, me and Kayla would have to compete for a 1% raise that neither one of us could get rich off of. Doesn't that suck? I don't want to compete with Kayla. She's my friend. Like I want to do business. So what I've done, what I want you to do is just shift your mindset. Guys, let's not compete. Let's collaborate. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you a perfect example. All right. Hi, Quincy. You're my only guy out on camera. All the other guys are scared. Okay. Quincy's out. So think about this. Let's say I'm flipping houses, right? But my pipeline is full. I don't have time or capacity to do another flip, right? Now, nothing's free in life, right? It's like you got to pay to play. Whether if you're going to eat, you got to pay, right? So and me and Quincy, we're boys. We're friends. I'm like, Quincy, bro, I got this deal under contract. I'm going to wholesale it to you for 10 G's, all right? He's like, he looks at the numbers, he loves it. He says, okay. So I wholesale it to Quincy. Now, if Quincy goes out and makes $50,000 of profit by flipping the house that I wholesaled him, would you guys agree me and Quincy would end up building a good relationship? Yes. He might even say, Umair, brother, my family made 50 G's on that last one. You got another one, Umair? You got another one, right? But here's the key, guys. I might say, Quincy, bro, I don't have another wholesale deal for you. But you know what, Quincy? I've got this 30-unit apartment building. Do you like the idea, Quincy, of being either an equity partner or a debt partner on my apartment building acquisition? In other words, Quincy, how about we just keep playing Monopoly together? Guys, this idea has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars. It will make you hundreds of thousands of dollars if you can get into the right mindset. Does that make sense? Now, I want to help you reverse engineer your mindset today. Instead of looking at money first, what I'd like for you to start doing is, guys, what I did is I started looking at knowledge first. If I don't know something, if I don't understand something, I'm not going to do it. And neither should you. I built knowledge first. My knowledge allowed me to build solid relationships. Okay. When I had knowledge in relationships, I began flipping houses. And when I began flipping houses, I made better money, right? 50 grand, 80 grand, 100 grand. But when I started flipping houses and I started making better money, what do you think opened up for me? Time, right? And that's the most valuable thing we have in life. It's the only thing we're not getting back. Okay. So I'm just curious if you're hanging out with me tonight and everybody's different. Anyone already got a wealthy mindset? Who's got a wealthy mindset? Put a Y in the chat box. It's okay if you don't. It took me a minute, but anyone already thinking like this? Uh, no one. Okay. Maybe not yet, but you will. Okay. It's gotta be the right. Brianna is. I love it, Brianna. Brianna, I'm a multifamily investor, Superhost Section 8, and I own. Ooh, cool. My entrepreneur friend. I love it, Brianna. Thank you for sharing. Fatima, I love your transparency. She goes, I don't have a wealthy mindset yet, all right, but I'm working on it. Guys, it's going to take a wealthy mindset if you're going to live the life of your dreams, okay? Not chasing money. Chasing money is like that really, really hot girl I liked in high school, but the more I liked her, the less she liked me. Any of you fellas had that experience? Maybe ladies, right? Have you ever really liked the guy, but the more you like him, he's like, nah, get away from me. It's like something spiritual about money. You got to let it go for it to come to you. All right, let's keep it moving. So I want to introduce you to what I call the financial pandemic, okay? Let's say that you can retire today and live comfortably off of 10 grand a month. Cool? 10 G's. Where I live in the Washington, D.C. area, $10,000 a month is lower middle class, right? But 10 G's, right? And let's say you believe you're going to live 20 years after the day you retire, okay? Mathematically, my friends, you would need to have a little over $3.4 million in your employer-sponsored retirement account in order to take a distribution of 10 grand a month. Does that make sense? You guys with me? I literally talk to people in their 50s, 60s, even 70s. Did you know that Americans don't even have half a milli in their retirement accounts? Do you guys know that? So we have been told a steady diet of lies, and Americans have been led astray for too many years. Okay. People can lie, politicians can lie, the media can lie. But would you guys agree if I said numbers don't lie? Here's your action item, my friends. If you're working a full-time job, and there's nothing wrong with that, we want to help, we want to leverage that job to help you get into this business. Please take a look at how much you're contributing every pay period. Please do the homework. Take a look at what you're contributing every pay period. And then I'd like you to do the math of how much you believe is going to be in there if you waited it out the whole 30 years. My friends, I can guarantee you it's not going to be enough. Okay, we were told go to school, get a degree, and retire one day, someday with a nest egg. It doesn't work. You want to know what does? Instead of creating a nest egg, what I've done, what I want to teach you how to do today is I want to show you how to create a chicken farm. Chicken farm. I currently have 83 units that pay me on the 1st and 15th of every single month. Every single property I have is like a little chicken that lays eggs indefinitely. Now, what if we have massive inflation? Does that impact me? No, because don't rents go up with inflation, right? And so I want to show you guys, and I want you to get really, really motivated to create what I call, actually write this down. Let's start reprogramming your subconscious mind. Just trust me on this. Write it down. I will create a cash flow based retirement plan. Okay, not a nest egg. I will create a cash flow based retirement plan. Guys, one thing I can promise you is this. If you work hard, you could literally stop working for other people in the next 3 to 7 years. You do not have to wait 30. You guys want to keep me accountable for the things I say? Please do. I'm going to show you how you can retire in the next 3 to 7 years and not have to wait 30 by leveraging a cash flow based retirement plan. Okay. Cash flow that will never run out. And when you do pass, you'll have something to pass on to your generations. Cool. All right, let's keep it moving. So we talked about mindset. We talked about what's not working. What I'm going to talk about next is taxes. Did you know that the biggest expense that you're going to have as an American is taxes? You guys know that? So I want to show you how me and my family used to play the tax game and what I've learned and how I've learned to play the tax game because it's nothing but a game. All right. In fact, I'm going to play all these numbers out. And when I say go, please take a screenshot of this. Ready, set, go. And then I'm going to break down and explain to you everything. This is the first step to getting rich in America. Okay. Okay. So first, let's talk about below the line. Okay. I used to run all of my money through my social security number. Okay. I didn't realize it way back then, but I was owned and controlled by the United States government. Okay. And I had what we call W-2 jobs, plural, right? And if you have a job, what happens is they take taxes out of your paycheck before you see the money. Is that correct? Right? Before you get to see the paycheck every pay period, depending on your tax bracket, your job takes anywhere from 33 to 40% in what we call income tax. Okay. But after income tax, aren't there other taxes that we're going to pay after income tax? What are other taxes we're going to pay? Personal property tax, sales tax, estate tax, Medicare tax, unemployment tax. There's a lot of taxes. Okay. So a third of your money is gone before you see the money. Then throughout the year, they continue to tax us. And what was happening to me and my family is I was usually left with half of what I make. But the problem was I didn't believe I made enough in the first place. And then me and my family were struggling to save money. Are any of you guys struggling to save money? Like it's not easy, right? And then the money that I had in a savings account was getting absolutely demolished by the hidden tax that no one seemed to talk about. What's the hidden tax? Inflation, right? Because the cost of goods and services continue to go higher and higher and higher and higher every year, right? But you guys can look this up. Wages do not keep up with inflation. So if you're doing what most Americans do, unfortunately, it's a losing strategy. It's not right or wrong. It's not good or bad. It's not happy or sad. It's just a losing strategy. Does that make sense? It's just math. It's not magic. I call this most regular people want to own stuff. What you're going to learn hanging out with me and the crew is wealthy people own nothing. Did you know that? They don't own anything. What they do is they control everything. And let me help break this down for you guys. Step number one after tonight is you're going to start a business. Okay. Please write that down. You're starting a business immediately, even if you keep your job. Okay. And you're going to start learning how to control your cash flow through a properly structured business, an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, a trust, a foundation. Have you guys noticed how the wealthiest people in America all have a foundation? It's not because they're nice. Think about this. Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Clinton Foundation. Have you guys ever heard of the Rockefeller Foundation? Right? So guys, what you're going to do, like, let me give you an example for me. Like, I've built houses, I flipped houses, I live off of the houses that I rent and seller financing. On my last land development deal, I made $80,000. Okay. When the $80,000 went into my business bank account, did I pay tax on that 80 grand up front? Yes or no? No, no, that 80 grand went directly to me, guys. Now, words are powerful, okay? I don't spend money, and I'm going to teach you not to spend money. I haven't spent money in a decade. What I want to teach you how to do is I want to teach you how to use money. What do I mean by that? Well, my friends, what smart people do is they take advantage of the 400 plus tax deductions that are available according to the IRS rules and regulations. Guys, I didn't make up these rules. As an American, I'm just following them, right? So you're going to learn to make bigger and better money. And then what happens with business people is business owners and investors pay taxes on what's left over at the end of the year instead of paying taxes heavily up front. Now, why is this important? Guys, it's important because it's going to allow you to live a life by design instead of submitting to a life by default. My goal is to help you guys be more intentional about how you live your life. Okay. Now, look, I want to make sure you guys understand this. So let's say as an investor, I'm flipping houses, I'm wholesaling, I'm doing apartment buildings. Let's say as an investor, I bring in 900 grand. Okay. I got 900 grand in my business bank account. Okay. If that $900,000 is no longer considered income, who can type into my chat box what that $900,000 would be considered? First person to get the answer gets a point. Let's have some fun. Anyone know? I got 900 grand in my business bank account. If it's not called income, what's it called, guys? I'll take a sip of my water. Right, exactly, Erica. So it's not called income, it's called revenue, okay? But now here's the end of the year. Now at the end of the year, I get to tell the government, I actually had $875,000 of quote unquote expenses. Now you're probably like, Umair, what can be an expense? Guys, anything. I don't own my vehicles. I don't own my laptop. I don't own my Apple Watch. Guys, I don't even own my own house. I rent my house from my own S corporation. You picking up what I'm putting down here? You guys getting this? Like if I take a trip to Fiji with my wife and kid, as long as I'm looking at real estate to purchase in Fiji, did you guys know that the flight, the entertainment, the meals, the whole trip becomes a tax deduction? Did you guys know that? So what I'm trying to get across to you guys here is that I make good money. We take advantage of all the deductions that are available to us. In this scenario, I would pay tax on the $25,000 left over at the end of the year, not the $900,000 up front. but the whole time I'm living my best life. You guys getting this? If you're understanding this, please put a Y in the chat box. This is like the first step to really getting rich in America. Just one person. So from now on, please remember this. Own nothing, control everything. Own nothing, control everything. You ever wonder why presidents and politicians will debate and fight with each other on stages, but none of them want to disclose their tax returns? You ever wonder that? Well, guys, they're multimillionaires in net worth, but they're broke on paper. Okay, okay, okay. I'm trying to help you reverse engineer the game. All right, cool. If you don't get it, let me know because this is really step one of breaking free of the chains of like corporate America, of what we've been taught. Okay. And I will respect that you don't get it. So let's just drill this real quick. Let's compare and contrast two different types of people. Okay. Let's compare let's say D and Erica. Okay. So D, you got a W-2 job. Okay. D, the W-2 worker. Okay. And we're going to compare D to Erica. Erica is a business boss. This lady's got it going on. She's a business lady. Here we go. So D, you make $100,000 a year at your job, and you're like, hey, I'm doing okay. I'm single, making 100 grand, all good. But if D has a 30% tax bracket, she's going to pay $30,000 before she sees the paycheck. You guys remember that? Gone. Now, let's say D spends most of what she makes, because isn't that what Americans tend to do? She's got $70,000 in expenses. Poor D. I'm sorry, D. You don't have any money left over at the end of the year. Now, D might be forced to go back to a job that she's not completely in love with, right? So there's D's scenario. Now let's talk about Erica, the business boss. Here we go. So business Erica makes $100,000 in her business, just like D. But if you remember from the last slide, Erica's money's not called income, is it? What's it called? It's called revenue. Right. The words change. Now Erica's got $70,000 in expenses, just like D. No difference, right? Here's the difference between Miss Erica and Miss D. Erica is going to pay taxes on what we call her AGI at the end of the fiscal year instead of her revenue up front. Now, if you don't know what AGI stands for, it stands for adjusted gross income. Okay. Business owners and investors pay taxes on their AGI, not their revenue. Okay. Now here's Erica. She's got a 30% tax bracket just like D. But in this scenario, Erica's paying 30% of 30 grand, 30% of 30 grand, not 30% of 100 grand. So what's 30% of 30 grand? At the end of the year, Erica's like, all right, government, you can have a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. So Erica strokes a check for 10 grand, but this is the best part. You guys ready? At the end of the year, Erica has $20,000 left over in her business bank account. Anyone want money left over? Anyone? Anyone? Am I the only one that loves having money left over? Yeah. I love having money left over at the end of the year because this is how I play the game. Now that Erica's a smart, sophisticated businesswoman, you don't think she's going to let 20 G's just sit there, do you? Guys, smart money never sits. Only uneducated money sits, right? So here's a hypothetical. Erica uses this 20 grand and she uses it as a down payment on yet another passive income rental property. Now, after mortgage, taxes, and insurance, this property is making Erica and her family passive income. So here's Erica. She gets a pay raise, and this property also goes up in value over time. Are you guys starting to see the things that smart investors do and the things that ordinary Americans do are just different? You guys getting it? All right. It could be, Brianna. I'm going to talk a little bit about refinances coming up. Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk about that. So who do you guys want to be? You guys want to be D or you want to be Erica? I'll take it. I'll take Erica. All right. So I don't like saying things without backing them up, guys. Check out this article. It says Amazon pays no federal income tax despite soaring profits. So Jeff Bezos is one of the wealthiest guys on the planet, right? He's got yachts and boats and does all kind of stuff. But Jeff Bezos in his country pays no federal income tax despite soaring profits. What do you think Jeff Bezos is doing, guys? Well, he's doing what I just taught you. The question is, how come you guys aren't doing it? Well, we weren't taught, right? That's really what it comes down to. Okay. All right, so there's 5 benefits that you're going to get as a real estate investor that you're not going to get with any other asset class. So if anyone ever says, Umair, I don't want to do real estate, I want to do the stock market, or I want to trade cryptocurrencies, or I want to do Forex trading, say, okay, let me just tell you why I'm a real estate investor. All right. With most other investments, you got to put money in and then hope and pray it goes up in value. I don't know about you guys, but I stopped smoking hopium in high school. I don't smoke hopium. You guys shouldn't smoke it either. It's not good for you, right? So the reason I invest in real estate is it is the ideal investment strategy. The I stands for income. Do you guys agree if you flipped a house, you could make some profit on it? You guys agree if you do rentals, it'll make you some passive income? You guys agree if you invest in tax liens, they'll give you interest? So yeah, guys, real estate will literally create income for you to live off of. Cool. The D stands for deductions, or you could also write down the word depreciation. Okay. There's some tax benefits with real estate. The E stands for equity. I'm going to talk about equity in an upcoming training. Now, we live in a debt-based economy. Now, I want you to understand this, guys. Markets will continue to go up and down, but in a debt-based economy, asset prices will always go up in the long term. Okay, everyone's freaking out about the stock market going down this many points and that many points. It doesn't matter. In a debt-based economy, it will always go up in the long term. Okay, so when was the best time for you and your family to buy an asset? Yesterday. Okay, yesterday. So A for appreciation, and I love that the L is my favorite. The L stands for leverage. Guys, why not get rich leveraging the bank's money? I'm about to show you how the banks are getting rich leveraging you. I'm going to show you how to shift that, okay? In fact, I want to show you how to leverage. Remember the 4 currencies? Who remembers them? You're going to leverage money, you're going to leverage time, you're going to leverage knowledge, and you're going to leverage relationships. Cool? I'm going to show you how this is going to work for you, regardless of where you're starting. All right, so we talked about mindset. We talked about taxes. We talked about the retirement failure, right? Now we're going to talk about interest. Have you guys ever heard this quote? Those who understand interest earn it, and those who don't just give it away. If you're hanging out with me tonight and you currently have a car loan, a home loan, or even a student, if you have any type of loan, put a Y in the chat box, please. Because I'm gonna give you some homework tonight. I'm gonna save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay. Cool. A couple of you guys? Okay, Tanya's got one. Brianna. Okay. So first, let's talk about how loans typically work. All loans are what we call front-end loaded. Okay. Front-end loaded. Okay. And you might be thinking, well, Umair, what are they front-end loaded with? Well, they're front-end loaded with interest. Whenever you go get a new loan, in the beginning portion of the loan, month after month after month, you pay a boatload of money, of your hard-earned money, to the banks in interest. You guys know that? A large portion of your payment goes to interest. Not everyone knows that. Now, every 5 to 7 years, millions of Americans get a call from banks, and it sounds like this. Pay attention to the psychological conditioning, please. Congratulations, you've been approved for a lower monthly payment. Right? All excited, right? They'll pour you up some coffee, they'll get you excited. Well, there's a reason why the Fed goes up and down with rates. Every 5 to 7 years, millions of Americans will get a call saying, do a refinance. Now, I'm not saying a refinance is good or bad. Sometimes it's absolutely necessary, especially if you're on a fixed income. But did you guys know that every single time you do a refinance, that the clock on the mortgage note begins all over again? Did you guys know that? You know that? I told my dad this. I said, Dad, unconsciously, most Americans are just renting the American dream. I woke up to why they call it the American dream in the first darn place. I was like, okay, I get the game, right? It's just crazy. Now, I'm not saying doing a refinance is bad. In investing, sometimes doing a refinance is the best thing you can do. But a lot of times, everyone stays in debt and they never pay off the loans. The banks just keep getting rich, okay? Now, this is what I want you to do. Right now, if you're hanging out with me, and if you're going to be a serious investor, open up your smartphone right now. and download a mortgage calculator. Do that for me. I use one in the App Store. It's called Carol's Mortgage Calculator or Carl's, whatever it is, right? That's the one I use. If you have any type of loan, please look up the terms of your loan tonight. Car loan, home loan, student loan, business loan. Look up the terms, and I want you to put it in that mortgage calculator and then click the amortization schedule button. Okay? Please do that. And then next, tonight, I'm going to offer you a strategy that's going to show you how to wipe out all of your bad debt in a quarter of the time that it would have taken you, not having to wait 30 years and without you changing your current budget. The strategy that you're going to get access to this week, guys, I've paid off 33 properties in my portfolio in just 3.5 years. So if you don't have good credit, or maybe if you have a lot of debt, this is going to be super, super important to you. Okay. So make sure you download that mortgage calculator. And then number two, I said number two is your mortgage calculator. Number one is your mortgage calculator. Number two is you're going to watch the velocity banking training. Velocity banking. Okay. And then you're going to do a planning session on what debts to wipe out and what debts to keep. Okay. Because not all debt is created equal. You guys feel me? Now I'm going to do a little etymology lesson, right? Words are powerful, right? It's called a 30-year immortized note. What's the keyword in the middle? More, right? Immortized note. You ever thought about that? Have you guys ever looked up the word mortgage? Did you know that the word mortgage means death pledge? Look it up. That's what the word mortgage means. And then I thought about it. I was like, where's that place we're all going to go when we die? Isn't the place that we're going to be buried when we die called the morgue? Morgue. That's it's like, interesting. Little subliminals there, right? In fact, does anyone want to guess what the number one asset for the United States federal government is? Do any of you know? I'll tell you. The number one asset for the United States federal government is student loans. I just found that, and if you guys don't believe me, Google it. I found that so interesting, right? So then you got to wake up, like, since the day we're born, go to school, get a degree, get a job, go to school, get a degree, get a job. How many rich people, how many wealthy people do you know that only work a job right now? Right. So I want you guys to start challenging your own mindset, okay? Okay, so we talked about taxes. We talked about you saving on interest. I've got a cool strategy to share with you guys this week. What I've been showing you up to this point together is I've been showing you the basic tax, time, and interest cost of most Americans, okay? We've already acknowledged that at least a third of your hard-earned money right now might be going to taxes, okay? You guys remember that in my tax training? Now, if you have a ton of loans or credit card debt or interest, another third of your hard-earned money is just being siphoned from your pocket in the form of interest. What happens to most Americans is they're left with a third of what they earn, but the problem is they don't believe they make enough money in the first place. So guys, what ends up happening is it's a repetitive cycle of being broke. You gotta do something different. Okay, unless you guys can show me that I'm wrong somewhere, you gotta change up the game. And you're very, very smart to start looking into real estate. Like, you're on the right track. So congratulations, right? Congratulations. So instead of your finances looking like this, what this group is going to show you how to do is how to make your finances look like this. Remember my first training on taxes? You guys remember that? It was about owning nothing and controlling everything. And remember I showed you how you can literally pay less in taxes by deducting everything? Congratulations, your whole life is about to become a tax deduction, right? I showed the numbers to you. Now I want you to watch the training on interest. But my goal here was to live a life by design. And what we're going to show you how to do is how to actually start living. It's not about money. It's about living a quality life. Okay. In fact, there's two numbers that I want you to get together today. Do this. This is an action item. This is really important. Write down the word need, N-E-E-D, need. N-E-E-D, need, okay? And I want you to write down how much passive income you need coming in to replace your current expenses. If you're having a hard time coming up with that number, print and download 3 to 6 months of your personal bank statements, okay? Separate your income and expenses and come up with how much you need. Guys, that's going to be your first target as an investor. You got to hit your need number, okay? Under your need number, I want you to write down the word want. Want. Imagine you're living your best life, going on the type of vacations you want, hanging out with the type of people you want, driving the type of vehicles you want to drive. Guys, what does your dream life look like? Really think about it. And how much money would you need? How much money would you want coming in order for you to live your dream life? Like, what does that look like? Would you get a jumbo jet? Would you buy an island? Would you feed the needy? Like, everyone's different. But you want to identify targets, because if you don't identify where you're going, the likelihood of you getting there goes down. Does that make sense? So let's do the work. Don't just listen to me. I'm passionate, and I'm hoping you can hear that, but got to do the work. All right, so let's get into some real estate stuff. All right, did I lay the framework? And I'm sorry I took so long, but now let's get into some real estate, right? Got to have a good foundation. So this is the deal that helped me realize that, guys, I didn't have to wait 30 years to stop working for other people, and neither do you, okay? So this is a 6-unit apartment building in Chicago. When my friend Scott acquired this building, it had an after repair value of 400 grand, okay? That's how much it's worth, 400 grand. Now, what good investors do, and what we're going to show you how to do, we have a system, a process of finding good deals. We're going to show you how to do is we're going to show you how to find deals at discounts. So Scott was able to buy this 6-unit apartment building and rehab it for just $246,000, okay? Now, guys, girls, when you're able to buy assets at a lot less than what they're actually worth, as soon as you sign your name on the agreement, as soon as you put that signature there, you're going to walk into deals with what we call equity. Okay, you got to understand equity. And in this example, the real estate investor walked into the apartment building with $154,000 of equity. Okay, you make your money when you buy. Okay. Now, so all equity is, guys, is it's the difference between what you're all in for and what the property is actually worth. Does that make sense? Now, why is equity important? Because in America, what banks allow us to do is they allow us to borrow 80 and sometimes even 90% of the equity that we have. Isn't that cool? They'll let us borrow it, okay? And then when they let you borrow the equity, basically the bank puts a ton of money in your business bank account. Isn't that cool? Now, who pays for that money? Are you going to pay for that money? Are you going to pay the bank back? Who's going to pay the bank back? Your tenants. Isn't that cool? What other asset do you know where literally other people will go to work to pay off your assets? Isn't that cool? Here's another trick question. If I pull out a bunch of money from a property that I have equity in, am I going to pay taxes on that money that I pulled out? Yes or no? Fatima thinks yes. Kayla says no. Kayla, you're right. No. Because technically the money that I pulled out is considered what? It's considered debt. Isn't that cool? But I can use that money that I pulled out to go buy more properties to then build more wealth and then make more money. You guys picking up what I'm putting down here? You got to get in this game. It's a different game than just working a job. It's priceless. All right, so this is a 6-unit apartment building. Each unit rents out for $1,000. So $6,000 comes in every single month. Now, with all the real estate we own, right, we don't get to keep everything that comes in. There's always expenses, right, guys? Expenses. So in this example, the apartment building had $4,000 of expenses. What are some expenses we're going to have in real estate? Taxes, insurance, property management, maybe a vacancy rate, right? You got expenses. Your mortgage to the bank, right? Those are all expenses. But when you do your real estate correctly, when you run your numbers right, your properties will cash flow just like this one does. After all expenses, this apartment building was making the investor $2,000 a month in cash flow. So that's your paycheck, Remember what I said? Cash flow based retirement plan. Okay. So guys, let's talk about this. So remember the four currencies? Talk about doing deals, a little deal structure. What are the four currencies? They are money, time, knowledge, and relationships. So when the investor got this deal under contract, he had money and he used his knowledge to walk into this deal with $154,000 of wealth. Because another word for equity could be wealth, right? And after all expenses, this one apartment building is producing $2,000 of cash flow. So this is what he did, guys. And so he had money sitting in a savings account, losing value. Remember that? Because if it's sitting in a savings account, you're losing purchasing power every day. So instead of letting it sit in the savings account, he went to his favorite bank and he says, "Hey, Mr. Banker, I've got this deal under contract. Will you finance me?" And the bank says, "Sure. If you want us to finance you, we want $50,000 down." And happily, the investor says, "Absolutely, I'll give you 50 grand." Because when you put a down payment to purchase property, are you spending the money or are you investing the money? You're investing the money. Because guys, the 50 grand is not gone. It's just tied into the deal. If you sold the property the next month, you'd get your 50 grand back, right? Does that make sense? So he positioned, instead of positioning money in a savings account, he positioned it in real estate. So he put 50 grand down. But this is the best part. The bank financed $196,000. So who's got more skin in the game, the investor or the banks? The banks. My friends, it's all about learning how to get rich, leveraging the bank's money. What I've been showing you is how traditionally the banks are used to getting rich, leveraging us. And tonight I want to show you how to change that because it's possible. Now, guys, if this property has a monthly cash flow of $2,000 a month, in 12 months, this one deal, guys, it makes a $24,000 passive income stream. Right now, you can't live off of 24 grand, but you're not going to just do one deal, right? You're going to do a ton of deals. Some of them are going to make you 60 grand a year. Some of them are going to make you 50 grand a year, right? Some of them are going to make you 24 grand a year in passive income, but you stack these and then you live off of it, okay? Now, with a $24,000 a year cash flow, and if the real estate investor puts $50,000 of his or her own money, this is what we call, right? Puts 50 down. This is what we call a 48% cash on cash return. Now, as a new investor, you're going to learn a lot of equations like how to calculate your net operating income, how to calculate your debt service coverage ratio, how to calculate your gross operating. There's a lot of calculations, right? But all my newbies, please write this down. The most important calculation that you're going to need as a newbie is to understand cash on cash return. Okay, cash on cash return. And I'm going to explain that to you right now. All it means is if the investor puts $50,000 down, right? And the investment in this example makes $24,000 in a year, all that means is $24,000 is 48% of the 50 grand originally invested. You guys getting that? Does that make sense? Simple, right? On your first deal, make sure you have at least a 10% cash on cash return. At least. So if you put your own money, and there's ways to do deals with none of your own money and none of your own credit. In fact, let's talk about that. I don't know how many of you guys are still paying attention. Let's do this because I went way over time. I get so passionate. If you want to see how deals can be done with none of your own money and none of your own credit, if you want to learn a little bit about deal structure, put a Y in my chat box. Depending on how many Ys I get, I'll cover it. But if you guys are real busy or, I know I've gone through a lot, but I want to be able to share. Oh, cool. You guys are still here. Awesome. I love it. Let's talk about it then, guys. Let's do it. So let's talk about no money, no credit deals. Okay. So in our group, we meet in person and we meet online weekly, monthly. We meet all the time, right? So welcome to the team, right? Right now, there's a mastermind group going on the other side of this Zoom meeting, and we're building groups all across America. If we don't have a group in your neighborhood, would you like the opportunity to help us build a group around you? Wouldn't that be cool? It could be your group, you could, it'd be awesome, right? Let's talk about that later. But let me show you how this works, right? So let's say, let me use some of you guys as my example, right? Let's say, is it Kiana? Am I saying that right? Kana? Kenna? Kenna? I got it, Kenna. All right, cool. Let's say for this example, Kenna, you're broke as a joke. All right. Kenna ain't got no money. She ain't got no credit. Broke as a joke. Okay. But it is what it is. Now, out of these four currencies, Kenna, you have to have one because if you don't have any of them, you're out of luck. All right. So let's say Kenna doesn't have money or credit, but Kenna has the time currency. Cool. That's what Kenna's got. We got to leverage it, Kenna. So for this example, Kenna has no money or credit, but she has time. And let's say Kenna gets this 6-unit apartment building under contract. Do you guys all know what that means? That means let's just say she meets with the owners of this apartment building. Let's give them a name. Let's call them uh, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Cool. And let's assume that Mr. and Mrs. Smith are a little bit older. They've had this apartment building for years. They don't have anyone that they want to pass it on to. Maybe they just want to sell it quick for cash. You ever seen these signs, we buy houses, right? They're like, I'm done with it. They don't want to pay closing costs. They don't want to deal with a real estate agent. So Kenna meets the Smiths and she gets it under contract. All that means is Kenna signs the agreement and the Smith signed the agreement. That's called a ratified contract. You guys with me? That contract then goes to a title company or an attorney and they do the closing process. Okay. So Kenna's got it under contract and she's like, holy smokes, I got my first deal. She's excited. She's nervous. She's like, oh my God, this is great. Now, let's say over the last couple of weeks or months, Kenna's been building relationships. And let's say Kenna builds a really good relationship with Kayla. And for this example, Kayla has a full-time job. She's married. She's got kids. She's super busy, right? But Kayla realizes she's never going to get rich working for someone else with a 1% raise. So as a side gig, right? Kayla's just like slowly learning and investing in apartments. Isn't that cool? So this every week we have mastermind groups. So Kenna goes to the mastermind group and she remembers Kayla saying that she had money sitting in a savings account and she was just dying to do her first deal. Now Kenna doesn't want to just wholesale this. She goes, I want passive income in my life. I'm not just giving this up. So she just shows the deal to Kayla. Kayla's reading the numbers. She's looking at the deal. She goes, whoa, you got such a good deal. And she expresses that, man, she's just so, she's jealous. She's like, girl, I've been so busy with work and family. I just haven't had the time to find a deal like this. This happens all the time. And that's when Kenna says, well, Kayla, we've been building a relationship. I got a proposition for you. Kayla, if you put the $50,000 down that you and I are both going to need, right? We can do a joint venture agreement. If you put the $50,000 down, I'm willing to give you $500 every single month on top of your 50. You get experience in your first deal, Kayla, and you get some cash flow. Better than just letting it sit there. And Kayla's like, it's not a great return, but I do want the experience. And what happens is these two ladies decide to do what we call a joint venture, right? And everything's going fine. Everything's going great, okay? They're excited. But let's say we're getting this deal to the closing line, right? And the bank pulls both Kenna's and Kayla's credit. And let's assume these ladies like shopping at Nordstrom's more than they should. Okay. Their credit is not as good as they thought it was, right? So the bank's about to turn them down. Oh no. But Kenna, she don't give up. This girl, she works real hard. She's like, nope, I'm not tapping out, right? Now in our group, we have beginner investors and we have advanced investors, right? And let's just say Quincy, Q for Quincy. Quincy, you're my advanced investor, right? And let's say these ladies look up to Quincy. Quincy's done so many deals. He has a huge portfolio, right? And so they go to Quincy. Kenna goes to Quincy and she goes, Quincy, bro, you got to help us out. We need a credit partner or we can't get this deal done. We need a credit partner. Will you help us, Quincy? Quincy's like, maybe. What value can you give me, Kenna? Because ain't nothing free in life. And so she goes, well, what if I give you the same thing I gave Kayla? Quincy, I'm willing to give you $500 every month. All we need is your signature, bro. And he's like, all right, look, Kenna, I like you, but $500 a month for my credibility with the banking industry ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. I like you, but it's just not enough value for me. And he's about to turn them down, right? But tonight's all about helping you guys think bigger. So this is what Kenna says. She goes, all right, Quincy, I didn't want to have to do this, but what if I give you half of this $154,000 of equity that I walked into the deal with? Because there's different ways that attorneys can structure who gets what in our agreement, right? Anything goes. So Quincy's like, I get half the equity. I get instant cash flow. I didn't have to do any money, and this deal just landed in my lap. All right, ladies, I'm down. I'm down. So hypothetically, with their powers combined, remember working together? Each one of these by themselves couldn't make it happen. But by combining their powers, let's just say these three people, they go and create, let's call it KCQ LLC, right? KCQ LLC. This three-member LLC goes and buys the 6-unit building from Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Look at all the win-win situations that can be created by respecting the four currencies instead of just trying to do everything by yourself, right? Let me show you what just went down, right? So Quincy's happy. He's like, that was great. I hope these novices bring me more deals. I'll take deals like that all day. I just want to build my portfolio. Bring them on, baby. Quincy's like, all day, right? Kayla's like, wow, that was cool. I got experience on my first deal and I got the opportunity to put my lazy money to work. I'm excited. But Kenna's the happiest, right? Because she had the time. She put the legwork in. She just did her first apartment building deal with none of her own money, with none of her own credit. And guys, check this out. She's still making $1,000 of passive income every single month. Not bad, right? Not bad. My friends, there are literally hundreds of ways that you're going to learn that you can structure your real estate deals. Hundreds. You just got to have the right team, the right coaches, and the right people in your corner. And you can stop working in 3 to 7 years. How do I know? I'm one of them. I didn't make this stuff up. I'm not a guru. I'm not selling you my course. I want to show you literally what's worked for me so I can get to know each and every single one of you so we can do more deals. Does that make sense? It's been amazing. And I love being able to share authentically my process. I have nothing that I hold, right? But this is basically what you're going to be doing with us every week. Every week. Some of you might be like Kenna, right? You ain't got a lot of money, not a lot of credit, but you're hungry. Good. We're going to put you to work. You might have money. You might have a full-time job. Regardless, there's ways that you can plug in and play. Cool? Just want to make that very clear. Any questions here, guys? I know I go into stuff. I want to show you why, right? Everyone's like, why would you want me to learn? Oh, there's reasons why I want you to learn, bro. I want you to find me my next deal, right? I want to do apartment buildings together. I want to buy mobile home parks together. You know, when I started, I didn't have money, but being a part of the group, I was like, cool, I'm in this thing. What if I found the deal? Y'all are busy. I'll do all the work and give you 50% of the profit, right? There's so many ways to structure the deal. And as you start getting this in your head, when you stop valuing money as the most important thing in life, your whole life will change. Whole life will change. I know mine did. Okay, guys, that's basically what we do, why we're bringing people together, and why we educate to dominate. And you can too. All right, now here's the question. Here's a question of truth. This is the question that helps me realize whether my training has been successful for you or not. Do you guys want to keep trying to save your income? Or do you like the idea of learning how to control your income? What's it going to be? What's it going to be, right? If your savings account is giving you 1 to 3% and the true rate of inflation is between, 5 to 7%, you're losing money, guys. There we go. Well, Brianna's already investing, so we know you want to control it, girl. Right? Yes, guys, please look, out of love and respect, even if it's not with our ecosystem, please do something after tonight. Okay, do something. Okay. So what we do, because I don't like people who say stuff and don't show stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're talking a big game. What our group does is we do property tours. These are all different people from all walks of life doing deals. Would it be helpful to you if we invited you to some of our real deal property tours? Would that be helpful for you? to come and ask questions to people who are in the same boat, who started just like you, check out my buddy Daniel. When Daniel found us, he was 22 years old. He was a basic beginner investor. This is Ed Kirch. He's been doing apartments for years. Ed, who was a senior level investor, helped Daniel close on his first 48 unit apartment building, right? And this is Daniel and Ed at the closing table. And these are some students in our ecosystem, right? Like, how do you think Chad's closing his first mobile home park? Same concept. We're learning, we're sharing, we're working together, and we're all building our own businesses. But so everyone's in business for themselves, just not by themselves. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So remember how I showed you guys earlier how I want you to save hundreds of thousands of dollars that you would have paid to the banks? You guys remember that? You're still gonna get, you're gonna get that training this week. So don't forget about that. I know I'm giving you a mouthful tonight. But check out my friend Candace, retired military. This is her Facebook post. She goes, "We've lived in our home a little less than a year. I've used this technique to pay down my 30-year mortgage and save a ton of money on the interest. As of last night, I have saved $78,000 in interest, and I've paid off more than 6 years of principal without changing my income." Right. I'm serious. You're probably like, well, how the heck does that work, Umair? This week, make sure you get access to the training, guys. This can absolutely change your life. Mark my words. Keep me accountable for what I say. Do not let people just say things without backing them up. This one strategy can change your life this year. Okay. All right. So this is my buddy Chris. I met him the same way I'm meeting you guys, and this was his last fix and flip in Virginia, Lorton, Virginia. And Chris, his wife still works. They've got two young kids, but he's the entrepreneur of the family, right? There's different ways that you can structure your life to make real estate investing work for you. This is a fix and flip done by a military couple that I met back in 2019. They bought this property from a bank, used one of our we have lenders, we have all the resources and tools that you're going to need to be successful. But they made $63,000 of profit on their first deal. Did you know that some people don't make this in a whole year? You guys know, I didn't used to, right? I was like, man, that's pretty good. It took them 4 months to do this deal from cradle to grave. I want to introduce you to Keith and LaFay Jones, retired military, had a beautiful military career, made good money. But when I met them, they said, Umair, we have kids and we can't give the military to our children. Remember some of these people because I want to introduce them to you. Welcome to the team, right? These are people that you're going to get to know. My friend Alvin with Gary V. I don't know if you guys know Gary V, but Alvin, he goes, I'm 26 years old. I got good grades. I got into a great college. I did everything I was supposed to do. I ended up working at Chipotle rolling burritos. Exactly 2 years ago, I found this community of real estate investors that taught me everything I need to know to make a change. Today, I own 84 rentals and I make my annual Chipotle salary in 1 month's rental income. My friends, imagine making what you make in a month and in a year every month. What would that do for you? I know I do. Like I used to make 30 grand a year. I make that every month now, just with my portfolio. If a 26-year-old fast food worker can make this work, anyone can. But the biggest thing is going to be your mindset. You're going to have to fight your own mindset because unfortunately, you've been conditioned to think, act, and feel a certain way. Do you guys agree with that? We're conditioned. And what I've noticed, because I used to get mad at my friends and family because I love them. I was like, I'll never point you in the wrong way. You're my brother, you're my sister. But what most Americans have is it's a psychological phenomenon called cognitive dissonance. You guys know what cognitive dissonance is? If you don't look that word up, what it basically means is you've been led to believe something for so long that when something external comes out and shows you that what you have believed is actually incorrect, that your psychology can't fathom it, so you don't change. Cognitive dissonance. It's crazy. So you're gonna have to fight against your own mindset, but no growth happens without pain, right? Through pain comes growth. Just think about it. So a quick disclaimer, our group, our education, our mentors, the classes, everything that this group offers, we want to tell you that there's no guarantee, all right, of any level of money, success, or lifestyle from using our education, our mentors, our lenders, just our group. Everyone that you meet and all the testimonies are unique to that person. Your results will be different, guys, and they're going to vary depending on several factors, including your starting point, effort, and resources. Remember, it's all about building relationships off of transparency. Last thing I want is you mad at me next week because you did something that you shouldn't have emotionally, right? That's not my MO here tonight. There's nothing being sold here tonight. We just want to show you our business model. But there are classes that you can purchase. In fact, I want you to look into this. This is the group that helped me. Their name is Renatus, myrenatus.com. I started out with them. I started with them back in 2015. And this year, they made me an instructor. Isn't that cool? I am teaching in this group. I'm going to be teaching a class about mobile home parks. I pinch myself sometimes. I'm a kid with no degree. I can barely spell. I use Grammarly. I don't know how to do math. But because of being around the right mentors, it's inspired me. Now I get to teach you guys. And I hope you watch my class and build your business and make a ton of money. So it's 90 classes taught by 41 practitioner instructors, and we have one-on-one mentoring, one-on-one coaching. And so instead of finishing community college, I dropped out and I did this, and I've made so much money as a real estate investor. And you can too. Okay. So what we do is we build communities of real estate investors who help support each other's success. And if you're not living in my market, it's even better because once you know what you're doing, we could like, look, I got boots on the ground there, you got me here, right? Like it's fantastic. So what really truly works for people is not selling them information and then never like not selling them information, not talking to them again. What works in the real world is having access to everything you need at your fingertips, both online and in person, because we're busy people. What really works is having a one-on-one coach and an accountability partner. It's so hard to do it by yourself because like it's like going to the gym. You're all excited about it and then you fall off. Everyone needs an accountability partner. Do you guys agree? You want to be able to leverage a system to start finding deals next week. I already know how you guys are going to start finding deals using artificial intelligence and lead flow tactics. You want to be able to come to weekly mastermind and talk to people who are doing deals and just ask them, hey, what's working? What's not working? How are you doing so many deals? You want to be able to come to property tours where people are authentically sharing what's happening in their businesses. And guys, you want to be able to see income opportunities, right? We're not going to judge you where you're starting. We would love to get to know you for who you are and help you build your plan. What's worked for me may not work for you, right? We got to help you build your plan based off of your personality and your goals. And that's what this group did for me. Now, what helped me is their one-on-one coach because I needed some hand holding. God knows, I didn't know a thing about real estate. And in my 20s, I made my first check. My first flip, I made $43,000. And if we get to talk again, I can show you how I did this deal with none of my own money. Okay. I'll show you exactly how I did it. Now, the group, the tuition, the mentorship, everything is lifetime. Like this is something that you're going to be doing with us for life. It's not a one-time thing. There's no expiration date. So it does cost money, right? So when I started, it cost me $26,000. And I was like, holy smokes, 26 grand. You guys are out of your mind. I've made that back over and over and over and over. And as I got to know the group, they showed me how to do this without even using my own money or credit. There are different ways that you can get started, but I want to tell you now, this is the maximum, absolute maximum that you'll ever pay. There's no upselling. There's no, hey, do this. It's just, this is what it is. I paid once in 2015, and I've never paid them again. I don't know if it's the right fit for you. I don't know if it's going to help you, but I do know I want to get to know you and I want to see if we can help you build a plan. Does that make sense? There are ways to get started super small as well, but I wanted to share you the maximum that you would ever spend with us because we value our transparency. Now, any of this is for two people. It's for you and a partner, and there's lots of ways to get started. I just wanted to kind of share with you, a baseline. Now, I'm inviting you tonight to start your journey with us with what I call the test drive, because we're not about saying things, we're about showing things, okay? This week, we want to give you a one-on-one guide to share our process. Would that be helpful for you? Just a one-on-one guide to hold your hand and just share everything we do, because we do a lot. We want to give you a business launch strategy call with yours truly. I will meet with you, get to know you, and help you build your roadmap. Cool? We want to do a one-on-one we want to give you a one-on-one real estate coaching call with the same guy who coached me. His name's Gavin. We want to invite you to a Zoom session called Deal or No Deal. How many of you guys are already looking at deals? If you're looking at deals, bring it to our deal session, and we're going to help you run numbers and analyze deals at no cost there, okay? This week, you can do this. We're going to introduce you to our investor operating system. We're going to show you the velocity banking method. Remember how I told you that hundreds of thousands of dollars are going to come back in your pocket? Maybe some of you didn't believe me. Maybe some of you did. It's going to happen this week. You got to see the numbers. You're going to get access to a real deal property tour. And at the very end of 7 days, you're going to do something every day. At the very end, we want to help you build your real estate investing roadmap, okay? And get started with our group. You're going to get all of this for $50. Don't go out to eat. Don't go to Subway. Get your test drive and learn more about how we can help change your life. I'm grateful that I did, and I didn't just brush this off. Now, as an added bonus, this is like our first tier of you learning how to be an investor. As an added bonus this week, you're going to also test drive all of this curriculum, which is going to help you get jump started as a real estate investor. You don't have to pay $2,000. You get access for the $50 for the test drive period. So we're not about saying things, guys. We're about showing things. And I literally want to help you change your life. I love what I get to do. $50. I'm going to show you how to get started. So guys, there are a lot of different things that we teach. Again, we do short-term rentals. We do real estate hacking, apartment buildings, fix and flip, passive investing. We teach everything. And it's too much for me to cover tonight. But the goal is to help you become what I call a transactional engineer. Okay? It doesn't matter if the market is going up or down. What matters is you know how to make money regardless of what's happening in the economy. In fact, us investors make more money when the market crashes. I don't know if you guys knew that. It's great. So I don't know if you knew this, but any money that you invest in yourself and start working with me in the ecosystem, it is going to be a 100% business tax deduction. So basically, the government will pay you back for becoming a real estate investor. Do you know that? You're probably like, well, why would they pay me back? Because, guys, we have a major housing shortage. America needs more investors to help people, and that could be you. There's also a 7-day no-risk trial, and we have ways that people can get started regardless of if they have money or credit. You just got to get more information. Tonight was just an introductory training. Now, you're one of 3 people, right? I want to make this super easy tonight for everyone. One of 3. 1, I'm all in. Let's figure it out. I don't know how, but I'm joining this group. I want to get to know you for life. I want to be an investor. Number 1. You're number 2. I'm interested. Set up my test drive, baby. Let's go. I need to see what this group is all about. Or you're number 3. Umaer, thanks for the training. I'm not interested. Either way, my friends, I wish you nothing but love and respect. What I want you to do now is just text message whoever invited you to my free info session and just make it easy for us. 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, or 3. 1, 2, or 3. You lead, we'll follow. Cool? Easy? It's easy. 1, 2, or 3. If you're a 1 or a 2, I invite you to hang out with us this week. Just hang. Just hang, right? Get to know us. During this week, we're going to make sure you're a good fit for our team, right? It's not about the money. We want the right people in the ecosystem. We want to discuss your goals and your personal vision. We want to help you build your plan to join our ecosystem. We want to show you how to free up more of your monthly income because dang it, you deserve it. It's hard for people out there right now. We want to show you how to create multiple streams of income, help you create a plan to achieve your goals, show you how to analyze deals. If you're a beginner, at least spend a week with us learning how to run your numbers, help you save on taxes, and of course, answer all your questions. Okay? The reason why I love this group, guys, it's a diversified group of people from all around America on a mission to help everyday people like you and me. I didn't start with money, but I sure as heck was not going to die broke, right? And so we're trying to go across the country. The business model is very, very different from anything you've ever seen. It's not based off of selling you something and putting you in a funnel and then saying good luck with your information. It's based off of real people, real conversations, and true stories of investors like you and me doing deals and making money. Guys, the reason why I'll do this until the day that I die, it's not about money about anymore, is I'm just tired of seeing the banks, the corporations, and the governments always win, and everyday Americans get trampled over. And I really believe that if you and I started working together, we can do amazing things. Like I know we can do just some big things together, right? Like I can feel it. I want to give you my contact information. And I want to show you my Facebook and stuff. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, feel free to add me as a friend. I would love to get to know you. And then you got directions. And if nothing else, guys, go figure it out. You know that the system's broke, so don't stay broke with it. Oh, before you leave, I'd love to show you a quick video of we do like Caribbean vacations together every year. We go to like Dominican Republic or Mexico. We do stuff, right? We're friends. But the last event we did was this, and I just want to show you a quick video from our last event to hear what some of the other people had to say. And then we can move on from there. I'm on Instagram, Umaer_Haq. I'm on Facebook. Find me, add me as a friend. Check out this quick video, and then we'll talk this week. Oh man. All right, guys, have a great evening. I cannot wait to meet you, and we'll talk soon. Cheers.
Are you ready for the Real Estate Walk of Fame?
What's up, Renatus Nation?
What's up, Renatus Nation? Y'all better make some noise!
Let's get it rocking.
So we are super excited to be here with y'all. 6 years and 44 deals.
37 deals, including 11 on the same street.
About 22 real estate transactions, and I've been with Renatus for 5 years.
I love it.
4 Renatus, 3 deals. After Renatus, 20. That worked out.
Gotten into our 4th deal, so thank you, Bob.
15 deals and just closed 2 days ago on my 15th deal.
Thank you, Renatus.
I've been involved in deals with over 100 properties.
We have 11 transactions, 27 doors, and we actually close on another house next week.
Done 13 deals, and I love Renatus.
We have been with Renatus 6.5 years and have done 48 deals.
I did over 200 deals, and I continue. I'm never going to stop.
Many, many more deals are coming. I know that for sure. Originally from Kenya.
Originally from Trinidad.
Originally from Russia.
Over 100 transactions, including Philippines.
I've done 17 transactions, own 6 properties, thanks to Bob. 8 short-term rentals that I'm running, 6 here and 2 in India.
We're 2 years, and we have done 23 transactions, and we're from Mexico.
This is amazing. It's transformational.
I've made thousands and thousands of dollars. I've done over 17 deals. But the best thing is that my life has completely changed. My mindset has changed, and I have incredible people around me. And I'm so thankful to be a part of this community.
I absolutely love to see the results that our people are getting.
Renatus rocks.
Renatus rocks.
Renatus rocks.
All I gotta say is Renatus rocks. Do more deals.
Renatus rocks.
Renatus rocks.
And Renatus rocks. I believe Renatus rocks.
Does Renatus change lives? Yeah. Has it changed your life? Yeah. Oh, there's more to come.
Door that lifts up. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's up.
A little door? Yeah.
Behind that pole.
Hey, guys.
What's up, man?
How you guys doing?
We're looking at a property Damien's going to take a look at in DC tomorrow.
That's exciting. That's exciting. Awesome, awesome. Just got done with the intro, and I think it went well. We had some guests saying that they're number ones, so I don't know whose guests they are, but
We're number one.
we're number one. We're number one. So, you guys coming to bowling on
Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Should be fun.
I got two people to RSVP tonight during the meeting.
There we go. Cool. Well, it's time for dinner for me. You guys keep doing your thing. If I can help at all, let me know. D, by the way, it's good to see you, D. I got your place. We got your place rented out.
I saw that. I was going to give you a call. Everything's been so crazy.
I know you've been hiding, but
Yeah,
as
I
soon
tend
as
to
like
draw back when things not going right.
we had to do an eviction also we put in D's mobile home, these crazy
Aw.
people. What an
After
amazing
was it 3 months? Yeah.
they just were crazy people. And this lady was in the army too. But I
Mm,
got a collections company going after them.
okay.
I don't let them slide. Like, nope. Like, you can't lie to me in my face and then not pay me. Like, nope. I do collections. And the way it works is if the collections company is successful, they take like 30%. But it's better. They get some money. They're able to get some money, it's great.
You do too.
And what's your collection company, real quick?
It's a dude. He does it in South Carolina. I'll send it to you.
Bubba?
Huh?
Oh yeah, guys. FYI,
His name is Bubba.
No, actually, his name is Dan. So he's kind of like, my name's Dan. I do collections. He's like, yeah, he's that guy.
Dan the man.
Dan.
Dan the collection man.
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan.
I was about to say the same thing.
Lieutenant Dan. Hey, that's Forrest Gump, right?
That's a good one.
Yes.
He actually said it perfect. Lieutenant.
Yep.
Lieutenant Dan.
Lieutenant Dan. Dude, that's funny.
I have one more comment on the property. Picture 24. Is that a leak?
24.
Sorry.
Picture 24. I don't know which one. What is
In
it?
the closet. It's in the closet. I'm seeing something on the ceiling. I can't tell if it's a light, but it's there's a wall going up there. And I can't make it bigger so I can see what's going on. But anyway, I'm just calling it out for tomorrow so you can see it tomorrow.
Are you flipping it, Damien?
I'm trying to see. If
You said 24?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks like it's a leak inside of a closet.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, but just confirming, asking so we can confirm.
And if you look all the way down at the bottom, it looks like there's
That
a
outlet.
separation between the drywall and the floor.
Yeah.
What you talking about?
I got to show you guys this deal that I'm doing now.
I don't know if I told y'all. I started a company. I'm a GC. The name of
contractor company.
Mm-hmm.
You're a contractor company.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm excited about that, Damien. Because if I find a deal around here, you'll be the GC for me.
Yes, sir.
What areas?
You got business all day for me, bro. You're gonna be the first person I call.
What areas, Damien?
It's for DC right now, and I'm gonna look into it, see what it is for Maryland. What I got to do for Maryland right now.
And Virginia?
I would do Maryland, but I don't know about DC though, man. DC.
I was gonna say, and you gonna add Virginia in there, Damien?
Honestly, probably not.
Oh,
Man, why, Jamie?
Yes, come on.
Man.
No love.
No love.
Yeah. Don't hate
No
on
love.
Virginia.
You got your bad review already.
Yep.
There we go. Get him, Keith. Get him.
Honestly, because I'm the reason I'm doing it was really for myself, and of course, I help y'all out, but I'm really doing it for myself, and I ain't doing no deals in Virginia.
You should.
Well, I ain't planning on doing any. Should I say?
Look, I'm gonna watch Bill Predabon's class, and I had this whole idea that because there's nothing but new builds where I live, like buying a property for like 700 and then reselling that joint. You see his thing at Nationals, like my market is perfect for what Bill Predabon teaches, and I can make like $1 million on the deal. Like, I can't wait for the class. He's teaching that class right after my class, so
before your class.
Right before your class.
Before your-
So So his is not on development, Umair?
Yeah, built like basically buying these older homes that you see like where you live in Vienna, right? Like buying these older homes for 700, clearing it, and then GCing the whole project and selling it for like 3.5 mil, 4 mil. It's just absolutely crazy what he does.
Yeah,
And
There's
I
a lot of
asked
that
him,
in Arlington too.
hey, why do you think I tried to get on Pit and Pack? Because now the relationships. Like I asked him at Nashville, I was like, all right, bro, we known each other long enough. We party together. We're friends. You gonna help me if I do this? And he goes, all day I'm gonna help you. I said, okay, cool, because I'm uncomfortable building a house and doing that. So I'm gonna need you on call. And he goes, Umair, you call me anytime.
Nice. Justin said he had an update for us on his triplex before we wrap. That's exciting, Umair. So once he helps you, you're gonna help us.
Yeah.
You know it? Come on now. Of course.
So that means Damien got to get his GC in Virginia.
Yeah, Damien.
Right.
Yes.
Come on.
Come on, Damien.
Depends on what I got to do. But
Damien,
these
I'm learning how to be handy, man. I've been working on some things myself, but it's like I failed at like I tried to do this epoxy floor and I ruined that whole dang thing. But it looks better than it did before. Tomorrow I'm pouring a cement slab.
you got y'all's nod of approval.
Practice makes perfect.
Practice
Yes.
is perfect,
So
right?
do another one. Yep.
Yeah, tomorrow I'm pouring a sidewalk just to practice, just to see if I can,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm just
Yes.
because it's been my week. It's been like because I'm good at the financing, good at negotiating, good at running numbers, but I'm not good at project management.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's my if I like I just know what I'm good and not good at. So actually, that's why I'm doing
That's
this.
good.
This never mind. I can talk for days. Justin, tell us your deal, bro.
Oh, yeah. So with the triplex, this is the one that was vacant for 10 or 15 years, but somebody picked it up, did some work over the course of 3 years, and then we were talking about the financing strategy, DSCR for now 75%, and seller financing for the other 25%. So there is a way to make that work. When I talk to my lender, it's a little not complicated, but it's a little kind of backdoor in terms of a lot of times the DSCRs don't want you to get secondary liens on the property. So he's basically like, but they don't really care. Like they'll do a check up front, but you just have to like um, secure your agreement on the back end of that. And so we're just kind of working through that, working through the numbers. But um, the um, so I've got the seller to agree to do that. So she's going and she's gonna do a secondary loan for the entire the 25% down payment and the closing costs. So I could arguably
Nice.
get into this property for literally no money down.
Why you still talking to us? Why
Why
you
you
ain't
still
do
talking to us so close?
Well, it's the terms of it. Because at first she was like, oh, when we were thinking it was 75,000 that the down payment would be, she was saying, oh, well, just do 10%. And I'm like, what do you mean 10%? And she's like, what's 10% of 75,000, $7,500? And I'm just like, yes. Like, so you mean I'll pay you $7,500 over the term of and so I wrote that up, sent it back to her. And then she had one of her friends review it and she's like, I think we're calculating this wrong. I'm like, dang it. So then she's like, we had somebody calculate it 10% APR for every year. And so that was way more. So that took it from like $7,500 of interest to like um uh 35,000 or something like that. Which again, I'm not paying anything arguably to get into this property. So I'm kind of like, okay, but the way that I said I wanted to do it is this, because the amount of cash flow, and I have conservative estimates. right? I'm estimating like $400 to $600 a month on maintenance because it's an old property. I don't really understand the condition. But with my conservative estimates, I'm anticipating $800 a month cash flow, about $850 a month cash flow. So I said to her, okay, I'll pay this back to you over 5 years, but with a balloon payment. And the most I can pay you monthly is $800 because that's all the cash flow is going to give me. And so that's where we're kind of going back and forth because she feels like, in running the numbers, $800 a month for it's now at an $86,000 loan, will put a like a $68,000 balloon at the end of 5 years, which is somewhat substantial, and she's a little uncomfortable with that. So I'm just trying to see if I can push her over the hump and get it done, because the most important thing
What
to
about an
me,
interest-only loan?
I mean, that would be even
Better.
worse for her. For me, that would be better. But
Yeah.
for her, she's concerned about, like, she wants more money every month and to have a smaller balloon.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to read in between the lines, like, why? I think she's just concerned about the risk of me not paying.
So you got to take away that risk of you not paying by saying the deed in lieu of.
What is deed in lieu of?
So a deed in lieu of is you having in place. Well, she gonna be second lien, so that ain't gonna
Yeah.
happen. Never mind.
Well,
No,
I mean, I
forget it.
keep telling her.
No. You guys, we've talked about this. If I miss a payment,
She a second lane though,
listen.
bro. That's what I'm saying. She won't be in first lane. So no.
I
Oh,
don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if she has people in her ear talking to her and explaining that, but I keep telling her, if I don't pay, you can take the house, which is technically true. She can technically
there
foreclose.
it is. There it is. There it is. We can put it in the agreement that if I don't pay, the deed goes back to you. The deed goes back to you. Now the bank is the lien holder, but the ownership is her. Same difference.
Nope. Nope. Because now she's gotta be forced to pay them, or she gonna get foreclosed on.
But by then he did forced appreciation and it's cash flowing.
Maybe.
That's what
But
I keep telling her, that
What do you
we're
mean
probably
maybe?
going to hit it
Because
with
it's cash flow.
appreciation.
It's cash flowing as it is, and or she could turn around and do the same thing with someone else.
but
Basically,
you
you need a
can't
clause in there saying,
but you can't convince. Let's say I own something right now, and I'm going to sell or finance it to you. But then if I get it back, I'm now in second lien position, so I don't really own it. That's not going to fly.
you're not in second lien position.
Yeah,
You could,
yeah, she would be.
I
She would
think
be in
so.
second lane because he talking about getting two mortgages.
well, wait, you're not really getting set two mortgages because one is just to her.
No, he said he's getting a DSCR and her to
The
do a
DSCR would be first. It's going to be recorded first.
yeah.
Yes,
Then
I
our
understand
agreement.
that. So he's got the DSCR loan, and then she's seller financing a portion of her own sale.
Right, but that's the DSCR is the first lane position though, my brother.
Right, and I understand that, but what you're not getting is if she is the seller and if he defaults, he could put a clause in there that she just gets the ownership and then her seller finance portion that he owes would just be clean. But she
It
still walks in with equity.
it will be clean, but now she have a mortgage where she didn't have a mortgage before. So
But
now
it's still cash flowing after everything for
yeah,
her. So it's gonna make her money.
she's trying to sell it though, bro. She's not trying to keep it.
So, I mean,
You putting her you putting her to a situation where now she has a mortgage that she has to pay.
But she's not
Where
paying the mortgage. Who's paying the mortgage?
you don't have a mortgage.
Renters.
I think to
I
simple, yeah,
know,
she
but my
doesn't have a
point is
mortgage
this. My
now,
point
but
is this. He's got it occupied and it's rented out. It's making money after taxes, insurance, debt service, all that. It's making $800 of cash flow. So if he screws up, he could just hand her back control.
He's handing back control with her being in second lane position though. Even if it's cash flowing, she still have to put in. She got to manage it, what she don't want to do. That's why she's trying to sell it. She don't want to manage it. She just want her money. So now,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So
Go ahead.
so we could argue about this, but I don't get the sense that she's not super savvy, right? So I don't know that she's arguing in her mind between first and second lien position. I think really, I think she understands that she could take the house. I think she thinks that she could take the house. She may not even know that being in second lien position means that the bank gets paid any arrearages first. I don't know that she knows that, but I think the bigger concern in her head is just maybe the headache of it all, if I had to guess. And so I just was thinking of like ways that I could assure her that like, look, like, yes, you have this lien, so that is your number one security blanket. But I was like, have you ever done this where you've like showed, even though you didn't have to, you showed the seller or you showed a private lender your private financials, like maybe my income statements or something like that. Like I'd rather not show her like my 401k
No,
because
you
then
can
she
show her.
might get a little
No,
greedier.
no, no, no,
But I
no.
could show her like income statements
No,
or
I don't
something
think
like
you need
that.
to do all that, man. Like, even if you defaulted because of the loan to value and her seller financing portion, if you defaulted, I know there's some clause or something that you could put in your agreement that your ownership goes back to her, and then her seller finance portion is the equity, so that wipes clean. I know that there's a way for you to do that.
I'm not saying that you can't do that though, brother. But I'm not going. I wouldn't. Me personally.
And then she
I
could
would.
relist it, right? So she's not at.
But she's not trying to go through all of that though. If I'm giving you a
She's been
house,
trying to sell this thing for over a year.
right? If I'm giving you a house that's free and clear, and then now you giving it back to me and it has a mortgage, so I'm obligated to pay a bank. That's not going to work for me.
I know, but you got to explain to her that you weren't be obligated to, because you could, now that it's fixed up and every unit is rented out, and I've done some forced depreciation or whatever he's done. Now it could be
She would say that it's turnkey. She would
it's
say
turn.
it's
But
turnkey.
if it doesn't sell, she's stuck with trying to keep it rented out until she sell it, and she has a mortgage that she has to pay.
Yeah, that's true. So it's all negotiation skills. I wish I was doing it. I get this thing done.
Right now, I'm
You've
holding the
done you've
line.
done you've done so great so far building
Yeah,
a relationship.
The
Like
yeah.
you've
best case
done you've done
scenario
amazing.
would be to get her to sell or finance the entire amount. That way she does have first lien position. So if you do default, she do get it back. And there is no you fixed it up, force appreciation, and she don't have any additional payments.
Yeah, I mean, I can bring that as I get the
That
sense
would be
that this
best
is
case
not what she's
scenario,
looking to
really.
do, but I can certainly bring that back up. Like she basically said, I told her, let's move forward, let's do it. And then she was asking more questions about, so she's like, let me get back to you tomorrow. So she'll get back to me, tomorrow, and I'll see what she says. But
What's important to her? Like, does she, because if
I've been asking her that. She says the monthly payments, but to
that's
me, I don't
perfect.
understand that because when she was going to sell the house, her ideal sale was all cash. So
That's
I
just
don't
what they
know.
think they want. But when you educate them, they don't even know like, did you ask her, hey, so when you get the proceeds, what do you plan on doing with the money? Ask her that question.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so my question to you, Justin, because you said you can essentially be in it without any money out of pocket. How are you putting down your down payment for the DSCR loan?
So that's where it gets a little bit complicated. My lender says I got to work with a title company, a closing agent that knows how to deal with these creative processes. But basically,
The equity.
I there's three he basically said there's like three ways you could go about it, and only one or two realistically would work. The first way is you bring the 86,000, which is the $75,000 down payment and the 11,000 closing costs. So that's 86,000. Ideally, you bring that to the table, and then You close out the deal, and then on the back end of that, she gives you a loan for that amount, and that's when you kind of resolve it that way. Or I guess, yeah, exactly. She loans that back to me, and as a seller financing agreement. That's ideal number one. Number three, and I'm gonna come back to number two. Number three is um, actually no. I think all right. I was laying this out
It's
wrong.
all about the loan to values, right?
The second method is which is what we're gonna try to do is we just have an agreement that when this deal closes, she will give the money. That the 86,000 will go into a seller financing agreement, but she can bring the money to closing. It doesn't. The title agent is not going to care who brings the money to closing. They just need to make sure that it's reflected that I'm providing that money. So she could put that 86,000 in escrow, and all the DSCR loan people need to know is that the money's there, it's in escrow,
Yes.
so it's satisfied. So that's the way that my lender explained it to me.
Here's a question real quick.
Yeah.
Why do you need a DSCR loan?
Well, are you really asking why don't we just seller finance the whole thing?
Yeah, and just give her a bigger lump sum, and then because the money that you're going to give the DSCR loan, even though it's through the rents, and then give her money, that could just go to her, and then she'll feel more comfortable because then the money you're gonna give that to somebody anyway. Why not just give it to her? And
It is the best case scenario.
Well, I mean, that's the DSCR is a 30-year mortgage. I think she told me up front she wanted to be out of this thing in 5 years. But like Umair said, maybe she just doesn't know what she doesn't know. I could certainly reintroduce that idea to her.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, in 5 years, do you not think it would appreciate, and then you can just do a cash out refi or something like that? Because there's gonna be, I mean,
Yeah, because markets shift every 5 to 7 years, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
like a market cycle. You know what I mean? But usually, what they do is they look at the value of the property, and those lenders will lend to a person to a certain loan to cost or loan to value. And if the property is purchased with enough of that equity, then you don't need to bring money. So that's what I thought it was. And then
No.
the lady has a certain purchase price. So on the back end, he's just doing seller financing with her. But it's
No.
all going to reflect on the closing statement,
Yep.
right? And so the title company is just going to reflect what transpired. It's just like, just needs to be recorded, the real price. But basically, just like this house I'm buying right now, I'm buying a house that has a value of a little over 280 grand, but I got it under contract for 28,000. So the bank is doing the appraisal, and I know the fair market value is going to appraise for at least 150. So I'm basically going to get at closing, I'm going to get paid to buy this property because the value is so much higher than I bought it for. But I say that to say when the house is free and clear and there is equity, you can do different things to get into that deal with no money or credit, and that you're doing all the right things. So you could do it that way, and they're going to manipulate it on the closing disclosure. Okay. Or best case scenario is, you just, hey, look, we built a relationship. You get all the money. This way, I don't have to do this, and we don't have to do this.
True.
No closing costs. We will go through an attorney. And worst case scenario, I'll play all the closing costs, but you be the bank. You keep the power. You keep the first lien position. And in 5 years, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and then I'll refinance you out.
That's true. I mean, if she really says that like monthly payment is what she wants, then that would be the best case.
But then you can give her more of a monthly.
Right. That's what I was just about to
exactly.
say. And you can give her more so she, is satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you lead with questions.
Yeah.
Would you like to have more cash flow every month, or do you prefer to have less? Well, no, I'd like to have more. So, okay, you just got to lead with questions and lead her into what you want her to do.
Okay.
Question. I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Shaq.
Sorry. Justin, I thought you said earlier when you were explaining the scenario that at the end of the day, you wouldn't have any cash flow because the 800 that was left would all go to her. In the first scenario that you laid out that they were talking about, does that mean you don't have any money coming to you?
Pretty much, but on paper, yes. But and I was explaining this to Umair offline, like I've estimated so much cushion in terms of like how I've done my numbers, that I think realistically I will still have cash flow month to month. But I'm just gonna keep it, because it's an older property and I'm just